Welcome to ZoomInData. In this video, we are going to understand ADF orchestration patterns. Orchestration is the heart of Azure Data Factory. If you understand these patterns well, you can design reliable, scalable, and production-ready pipelines. Orchestration in ADF means controlling the execution flow of activities. It includes managing dependencies between activities, handling success and failure scenarios, and automating end-to-end data workflows. In real projects, pipelines are never simple or linear. There are always dependencies between steps. Failures must be handled gracefully. That is why orchestration patterns are a favorite interview topic. The sequential execution pattern is the most basic orchestration pattern. Here, activities run one after another. The output of one activity becomes the input for the next. This pattern is simple and very easy to control. A common example is, first ingest the data, then clean the data, then load it into a data warehouse, and finally validate the load. Each step depends on the previous one. In the parallel execution pattern, multiple activities run at the same time. There is no dependency between them. This pattern is used to improve performance and reduce pipeline execution time. For example, you may need to load multiple independent tables. Each table comes from a different source. Since there is no dependency, they can run in parallel, making the pipeline much faster. The conditional execution pattern is used when execution depends on a decision. ADF provides the if condition activity for this. This pattern is driven by business rules and helps build dynamic pipelines. For example, you can check if a file exists, or validate whether row count is greater than 0. Based on the result, you either continue processing or stop the pipeline, avoiding unnecessary work. The iterative or loop pattern is extremely common in ADF. It uses the for each activity. You can repeat the same logic for multiple items dynamically, such as files, tables, or partitions. A typical use case is processing multiple files from a folder. Another example is loading a list of tables dynamically. This pattern helps create scalable and reusable pipelines. ADF allows dependency-based execution. Activities can run on success, failure, or completion of another activity. This pattern is critical for reliable and controlled execution. For example, if a pipeline fails, you may want to send a notification or log the error. Cleanup activities often run only on failure or completion. This is essential for error handling and auditing. Metadata-driven orchestration is an enterprise-level pattern. Here, pipelines are driven by configuration or metadata tables. The same pipeline logic is reused for many datasets, with minimal changes. In large organizations, there may be hundreds of sources. Metadata-driven design allows centralized control, making the architecture highly scalable. Event-based orchestration is used for near real-time processing. Pipelines are triggered by events, such as a file arriving in storage. This pattern is considered modern and efficient. When a file arrives in Azure storage, an event can automatically trigger the pipeline. This avoids continuous polling, making it faster and more cost-efficient. Common mistakes include creating too many pipelines, using hard-coded logic, not handling failures properly, and ignoring monitoring and alerts. Interviewers often ask you to explain orchestration in ADF. They ask about sequential versus parallel execution. Metadata-driven orchestration is a very popular question. Failure handling is always discussed. Orchestration is the core of Azure Data Factory. These patterns solve real-world problems. Design decisions directly impact performance and reliability. Always try to think like an architect. Thank you for watching. This course is proudly brought to you by ZoomInData. Our mission is to help you learn, design, and deliver data solutions. Subscribe to ZoomInData for more Azure Data Factory videos.